Hey guys, Corbin from Circa 2020. So we're out here. I have the DPMS SBR in my hands, and I have a cool little surprise for you that I don't think y'all are ready for. So here we go. Just go ahead and put that baby in. Oh, what is that? A fully automatic DPMS SBR, but it's a BB gun, 177 or 4.5 millimeter caliber. But I tell you what, it's a blast. So meet you inside and we'll talk about this awesome replica M4 made by Crosman, licensed through DPMS, and really freaking cool. Hey guys, so you just saw that intro video, kind of tacky, but you know what? The truth is, that smile was genuine, because this rifle, even though it's an air rifle, a BB rifle, is probably admittedly the most fun I've ever had shooting anything. And I'm being serious. And I'll tell you why, real quick. Because whenever you rapid fire or shoot a regular rifle, unless it's a 22, and 22 is not that much fun. This is more fun than a 22. And for this reason too. You don't feel bad about blowing away 20 cents worth of CO2 and BBs, dumping a mag out of that. I feel bad dumping a 30 round mag out of an AR sometimes. Just because I'm not a millionaire, and you know, that's like 14 bucks. So even though it's a blast to shoot real rifles and mag dump real rifles, I think it's even more fun because it's carefree, guilt-free fun to just dump this thing, and full auto makes anybody giggle. So again, we're here talking about, if you fast forwarded through the action, and we're gonna do a little bit more action. We're talking about the Crosman DPMS Panther Arms SBR full auto BB gun, 430 feet per second. But guys, listen, the specs are cool, yeah. But, oh, real quick, Amazon shipped this effing thing to my house, slapped a label on this, and never even taped it. I swear I could open it just like that when I got it. I took it in my house. There was not a single thing of tape anywhere. I was furious. It is a blessing that that thing even got close to making it to my house, and nobody just emptied the box or the rifle didn't fall out of the thing. I was furious. So, and you could tell it had been opened. So people were looking at it, and I'm really not happy about that. I am gonna, Amazon's, you know, I think a terrorist group anyways, but I am going to email Amazon and light them up for that. But let's get back on track. So the DPMS SBR fully auto BB rifle. So this is, and what's cool, this is my AR vice block, and it did lock in a second ago. There, it's locked. That is locked on my AR vice block. It's a little sloppier than a normal AR, but not much. This thing is spec'd out like a 10-inch M4, basically. Yeah, this is basically a 10-inch M4. Charging handle works. Flip up iron sights, Picatinny rail. I even put a red dot on this earlier, messing around. It has a removable compensator on the end. Now it's backwards left-hand. It's backwards left-hand threads, and supposedly all air rifles and BB rifles are like some kind of weird thread, but it does have this really neat compensator on it, just for looks. It doesn't do it. Backwards threads, backwards threads, backwards threads. Gotta tell myself that 100 times. So you got a quad rail that you can even remove the rail on, if the side rails if you want. It comes with this angled Merc style grip. It moves it up a little bit, but I moved it back so my kids can shoot it and they can have a comfortable grip. It has a third selection in the regular mil-spec single-sided safety. It has a regular M4 mag release and regular dust cover, mil-spec style trigger, a working paddle. Yeah, a working paddle, bolt catch. It does have a, almost like a, whoops, it is fully removable. Almost like a Daniel Defense style stock on the back here. pretty neat, but it is collapsible. And you can take it out to about right there. So full extension on the stock, adjustable buttstock. And it also even has a buffer tube. And it actually has a legitimate buffer. It has legitimate takedown pins. It has legitimate upper and lower receiver. It has a legitimate bolt carrier group. Guys, the fact that you can even buy this is incredible. And I'll be honest, when I ordered it, my 5-year-old wanted his own AR. And I didn't want to build him even a 22 yet because I don't think he's mature enough and capable enough to be responsible to hold something like that in his hands. Even though he shoots his little Cricket 22, very low risk with that. It's pullback hammer, bolt action, push safety. There's not a whole lot that can go wrong if he's supervised. With an AR, probably in a year or two, once he gets familiar with this and shows me that he can do this, I'm going to build a 22 AR and we'll take him to the range and do things the right way. But I just didn't want to build him one willy-nilly. So this was a pretty cool idea to get him involved in the sport of shooting an AR and having very low risk. Now, having said low risk, this thing still rips him out pretty good, as you saw, and at almost 500 feet per second. And I run the Air Venturi steel BBs. I forget what grain these are, but these, I watched a test with this rifle. The fastest BBs you can get out of these are these anti-rust coated. It's like zinc coating on those Air Venturi BBs. So obviously it's gas powered. If you've done any research on this rifle at all, you would know that it's CO2 powered. You run two 12-gram CO2 tanks. What's nice is they give you the Allen wrench to put them in. That stuff's all on board. So really, if you're going out for a fun day of shooting, you only need a few, probably 6 CO2 tanks. A pair, you only have to use one if you want, but a pair of CO2 tanks will get you about 150 rounds on semi, about 125 on full auto. Full auto does waste a little bit more. But I want to go back to the rifle real quick. Weight wise, I weighed this in with the mag because the mag is probably 2 pounds on its own. It's very heavy with the CO2 and with BBs in it. I would say the rifle on its own, on my dial scale, which isn't super accurate, tips in somewhere around 7.5 pounds. It's very heavy for an SBR. Trigger pull, real quick, trigger pull is 8.5 to 9.5 pounds depending on what you got. It's a little long, little crunchy, not a great trigger, but it's a BB gun. Either way, it's pretty cool. The reset under semi's terrible. Full auto, there is no reset, so that's fun. And what I like is anything you want to do as far as like mounting this cheap bipod to here, you can do it. So earlier when we were out shooting with my little guy, I'll probably include that footage. He ran out of CO2 about halfway through his, and his did like the old paintball and ran out of CO2. But you can throw a bipod on, lasers, anything you want. Here's my purpose for owning this. I told you about having an AR for cash to shoot. 2 birds with 1 stone. I want to be able to run some ready up drills. Put a red dot on here, ready up, get on fire. Start working that in, doing drills. I don't have time to drive out to the farm or drive to the range and do those drills 2-3 nights a week like I really want to get into doing. So I've been doing some dry firing, but I don't want to dry fire my rifle either, and I want to see where I'm hitting. The 10 to 15 foot mark with this, I can ready up all day long. And if I'm hitting with this at 10 to 15 feet, the AR is going to hit at 20 yards. You know what I mean? So as far as scale, this is almost identical to my AR pistol that I built in scale, weight, and everything else. The trigger's a little heavy, but as far as length of pull and everything else, it's identical, really. The scale of this machine is incredible. So I'm not going to talk a whole lot more other than you can buy this on Amazon right now for $160 with Prime. And you will not be disappointed. It is the most fun thing in the world to shoot. But I want to run over a couple things. So you're going to need to get a box of these. The more you buy, the cheaper they are. I chose the 40 box of Crossman. I like to stick with the company. I do want to find out if the culinary style ones for like the whipped cream containers for the restaurants, if they work, because I can buy them stupid cheap on a restaurant thing. I could buy 200 of them for the price that I pay for 40 Crossmans, and if they'll work and they run in the gun decent, I'm cool. But to load this thing up, they do something really cool where they give you this loader, because obviously spare magazines are expensive. So you pop that down in, I make sure it's down, give that thing a couple. I'm running out of BBs in my popper here. So now we're almost fully loaded. I basically ran out of BBs in the thing because I bet we've blown away 500-600 BBs. To load this thing up, you just stick that in, charging handle back, make sure your paddle's forward. You even have a forward assist if you need, and you're ready to rock and roll. So when we come back, we're gonna shoot a target real quick so you guys can see how accurate and how it pounds on fully auto. All right, guys, so I'm gonna go back about 5 yards. I got this giant 12-inch shoot and see target. I'm gonna take about 5 to 6 shots semi with just the factory irons wherever they were. I'm not gonna, after the first shot, I might compensate with the irons a little bit to try to hit center. But I'm gonna take, one shot, see where it hits, and then just try to hit center with another 4, 5, 6 shots. And then I'm gonna go ahead and dump the mag out with whatever's left, so you guys can see how it kind of peppers with the full auto at about 15-20 feet. So here we go. All right, so quite a bit lower. Wow. So I am pretty impressed. The first one here, I was holding here to hit here. So I basically moved up to 11 o'clock at the top of the target. And those were the next 6, 7 shots were right there within about an inch. And I was, tugging on the trigger. I wasn't trying to be as precise as I could. It does hold a pretty decent group. And then really the next bunch of shots there were pretty good. So not going to complain at all about that. We'll load up one more mag and we'll launch a bunch downrange at this target and see what happens. All right, so we got another 25 rounds loaded. I have a feeling we're getting towards the end of the CO2 run here, but we'll just go ahead and mag dump this last 25 rounds and see what happens. Wow. Just hammer in the center of the target. This thing is so much fun. I should have bought one of these years ago. Let me bring you in here. Let me bring you back. We'll get down by the target and we'll wrap this up. All right, guys, so as you can see, I knew I should hold about right in here and it would hit somewhere near the center. And that's what I did. And I'm going to guess we're at probably 15, 16 feet there. So, 5 to 7 yards, probably 5, 6 yards, somewhere in there. You got to remember, it's a BB gun. But 5 to 6 yards, that's really good at full auto. I mean, it's seriously impressive. This was the very first shot down here, just the very first shot. I got to adjust the irons. I do want to sight the irons in better. But I probably am going to put a red dot on it for training and doing some ready ups and stuff here in the garage. Why not? Because if that's the accuracy that you're getting at full auto, and this was the quick group that I was just ripping semi-auto rounds out of, I am 100% okay training my eye, finger, and ready up using this rifle. I'm super impressed. All right, guys, so you just saw it. The proof is in the pudding. This thing has not misfired once. It's not failed to load once. It's not jammed. There's been no malfunctions. It's pretty inherently accurate for what it is. And I've run probably 15 mags out of it tonight. Just in love with plinking with this thing. For 160 bucks, you can't go wrong. I know 160 bucks not everybody has to throw around, but really, why not? Again, the DPMS SBR, it's a licensed SBR from DPMS. It's built by Crosman, so it's one of the oldest air rifle, BB rifle manufacturers in the world. They build a good product. This thing is incredible. The scale, the realism, the weight, the function, everything about it has been just absolutely mind-blowing. I thought about going airsoft for training, but the airsoft rifles, to get something that is metal and is real, is a lot of money, and this is 160 bucks, which is pretty much a junk airsoft rifle for 160. This thing is absolutely the bee's knees for 160 bucks. So I'm super happy with my purchase, guys. I would recommend this to anybody. I'm not going to go on and on and on. Just go out there and buy one. Have fun. You can buy it. You can get it shipped to your house. I think New York is the only place, because it's a communist state, that you can't get this thing shipped to your house, but I'm sure you can buy it and bring it home. It's not illegal to own. So, but I'm not sure. Double check that. But anyways, Corbin from Circa 2020. We play with BB guns now. So be it. See ya. Whenever you're ready, big dog. Whoa, there's all the CO2. We got to get more. How was that?